Here he is, Anthony Brindisi, man on fire. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
That's what I'm calling you now. Fireman.
Brindisi's on fire.
Yeah, please don't do that.
please don't make a song.
Although Paul Buckley could, if you're interested.
Oh, please don't.
He
Please,
could
Paul,
do it for you.
Don't do it.
All right, listen, you're all in here, and you're creating the venue. You're going to create a venue for the governor, and we're going to sit and wait.
We're going to sit and wait. He's going to come to Syracuse today to do his regional state of the state. I've offered to him to come to Utica on the way back. He's going to pass Utica, obviously, to get to Syracuse. So at some point, if he wants to stop by today, I'm going to have a crowd. I'll have a podium. I'll have chairs and constituents, and he can come in and give the state of the state here, and maybe also address the decision of AMS to not build a semiconductor facility in Marcy and what he's going to do moving forward. So
now, listen,
he yields it to the people here to come and speak to us.
I love the odds. Football, basketball, blackjack. There's a reason why you hit and why you stay on certain cards. What do you think the odds are that the governor is going to come to that podium today?
I'm not going to put any bets on this one, Bill, because his track record has really been to avoid uncomfortable situations in the hopes that there will be no bad publicity. But that's why I'm out there, and I'm saying what I'm saying because I'm going to hold him accountable, and I want him to know that the Mohawk Valley, the North Country, the Southern Tier, the three areas he's not doing his state of the states are kind of becoming the New York State version of flyover country for this governor, where he should really pay attention to this region. And if he ever, like I said on the previous show, intends to run for president someday, he can't fly over those places like Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin. He's going to need those states if he's ever going to run for president. So,
well, I got to tell you,
pay attention to our own little version of the Rust Belt.
I have to tell you, while it is understood that it really didn't help in New York, but rural America really is the reason Donald Trump is president right now. So
Democrats, to their detriment, ignore rural America, and that's why Donald Trump is president. And it's not just rural America; it's all those disaffected communities, the Rust Belt area, places that have felt ignored for decades. And you've seen it through loss of manufacturing, loss of jobs, and people are fed up with it, and they're fed up with their leaders not paying attention to them. And a big part of that is just showing up and listening to the people and trying to do what you can to work on the problem.
Yeah. Yesterday, a hospital conference is going on, and two public meetings happening happened yesterday, and a lot of people coming out, a lot of answers. And I give the MVHS credit; they were there and they stood there all day long, and they answered those questions. One of the issues, though, is that money. Are you confident in that $300+ million coming in?
I am confident, but at this stage in the game, I don't trust anything the governor does until I see it happen. So I'm going to continue to push. We had an issue last year with the money being taken out of the budget. The speaker really was the one, and the majority leader in the Senate were the ones that fought with our help, Griffo and I, pushing to put that money back in the budget. And if need be, we do so again this year. But they're really so far down the creek at this point in time. Department of Health has issued guidance on how to access the money. They're having the hospital fill out all the necessary paperwork now to get the money. So it would be really difficult for them to try and pull that money back now.
Right.
And look, I'm a big mouth these days, and if he takes that money again, we're going to go to bat again. Yeah. And we're going to hold him accountable for it.
Now, I do have to, I really have to wonder here about with this speech today. Is there anything? I mean, are you getting any word that he's going to talk about AMS? He's going to talk about the Nano project. He's going to talk about investment. He's got to mention Utica if he's in Syracuse.
You would think so, and I think there's elected officials from the region that will be going to it from Utica. So you would think he would say something about it. But again, if his track record is any indication as to how he reacts to these things, he likes to avoid problems. But that's one thing I'd encourage our media to do if they're going out there today to cover this story. Get a question in there asking him, Governor, when you come into Utica, when are you going to address the AMS situation? Those are important things that the people back here really need answers to. And he's been unwilling to answer them at this point in time.
Now, news has come out of Albany and reports saying that there is a slowdown at the Malta Nano front. What are you hearing about that?
I haven't heard much about that. I think, look, it's an industry that there's ebbs and flows, and certainly there might be some slowdown in chip manufacturing, but I think overall the industry is very strong. If you look at these devices that we use every day in our lifetime, whether it's our phones or our iPads or whatever it might be, they are getting more and more popular. The chips have to be smaller and faster, and there's always more demand for this type of product. So it's still a growth industry to be in, the semiconductor industry. The White House just put out a report about the semiconductor industry across the country and the growth potential in possible areas like Central New York and Mohawk Valley for those kinds of industries. So we still have lots of work to do to attract a company. It'd be great if the governor was on the phone to some of these companies saying, hey, we got a site here in Marcy that could really use you guys, and we got some money on the table to make it happen. But he doesn't seem to be that kind of hands-on type leader like a Donald Trump would be. I can't believe I'm giving credit to Donald Trump. But
you are.
Yes.
Wow.
He's the guy. Look, he's the kind of guy that will call a company and say, we need you. So that's what you got to do as an executive. You got to get in there and get dirty and call these companies up and say, hey, we want you in New York State. We want you to provide some jobs here.
It seems like he did have that. He did have that type of aggression and conversation with GE. He was very involved in the GE talks, and here we are. We're still waiting on GE here.
Well, he was very aggressive in the talks when GE was thinking about relocating their headquarters, possibly to New York State, where we found out they ended up going to, I believe, Connecticut or somewhere like that.
Yep.
But that's you have to be involved like that as an executive, and you can ask the county executives or anyone. You're going to do what you can to try and get companies to come to your area, and if it's to make a phone call, that's something that you're going to do. And I think sometimes executives shy away from that because they're afraid of rejection or it's going to make them look bad. But hey, you're there. You're just making a call saying, we want you here. We're going to try and do what we can to help. And you're going to work with my team and try and make that happen. So he just doesn't seem to be that kind of a governor, that kind of hands-on type governor who makes those kind of calls, gets in the mud and really tries to get companies to come to the state.
Andrew.
And just to clarify, the invitation to the governor, was that directly to him? Did you personally say, we invite you to Utica, or was this just an open invitation?
No, it's to him. He's welcome to come. If he can't make it today, we have conference rooms that are always available at the state office building, and I'm sure we have other venues in the area that would certainly welcome him to make a speech. So he can do it on his own terms. But we want him to come whenever he wants to come.
A summit. A summit would be nice. There's a new word he could use. It would sound proactive and sound like he's being progressive and trying to put something together. I'm holding a summit in Utica. We're gonna figure out what's going on. We're gonna turn everything around. We're gonna make this all work.
Exactly. And it's been a long time since he's been here, and people deserve to hear from their governor. He's the elected leader of the state. Yeah. People want to hear from him, and he's just ignoring this area altogether, which is unfair. I said it in my news release yesterday. He has invisible governor syndrome, and we need a cure for it.
Okay, now it was not long ago that the announcement was made that these jobs were coming, and I remember the day after we had in studio, and all of you guys were in studio, but included in the in studio was Roanne DeStito, who has a very powerful position, is very close to the governor. Right now, and a lot of people have felt that a lot of the attention paid to Utica and Oneida County and Rome has been because of the efforts of Roanne. In fact, when she was in studio talking about this transformation that was going to occur because of Nano, it brought her to tears. She was literally crying in studio over the tears of joy. Now, through all of this, you have to have had conversation with Roanne.
I have not talked to her. I talked to her initially after the AMS announcement came out, and she was, I think, hurt and stunned as most of us were. I have not talked to her about the governor's not coming since then. But look, she's she's someone who did work hard to bring Nano to the area in her time as the assemblywoman, and I'm sure she wants to see it succeed too. So the governor really, he was off to the right track in terms of looking at areas of the state that had been very neglected in the past decades and trying to bring resources to those areas in the form of financial assistance to attract companies to come to these areas. The model that they used, that being Elaine Caballeros and SUNY Poly, failed. Mm-hmm. But the thought there is correct, that we have to revitalize these areas. We can't ignore Utica and Syracuse and Rochester and all these other areas. We just can't ignore them. So the method failed, but now we have to come up with a new method, and we have to lead and get this thing done. We have a bunch of checks that we just can't cash in this area from the governor. We want him to fulfill those IOUs and come through and deliver on his promises.
Yeah. All right. So what time is your event today?
So my event will be at the State Office Building. It's at 11:30. It's on the first floor of the State Office Building. The public's welcome to attend. I'm going to be there. I'm going to give my own little version of some of the priorities I'd like to see in the state of the state going forward for the Mohawk Valley this year, and love to interact with the people.
All right, Anthony Brindisi, Assemblyman, we appreciate it. This is unprecedented, really, when you look at the whole picture. It's really surreal. But let's see what the governor does.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it.
Anthony Brindisi, thanks for your time.